This is Nick,
And this is Brittany.
and we're meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Grand Forks, North Dakota, to talk to you about what's going to happen in the weather over this next week. Before we get started, let's cover some main points. First of all, as I'm sure you're all already quite aware, we've had a very cold start to April, but we are expecting some warmer weather in the upcoming week. Our first chance of getting some rain or snow will be coming up Wednesday or Wednesday night. Although many of you probably have already heard about Friday into the weekend, we'll talk about that as well, as there is a strong system that could bring some widespread precipitation and have the potential for some accumulating snow. Then lastly, we've gotten this question a lot ever since spring technically began last month. When will the spring-like weather actually begin? So we will say temperatures do look to begin approaching normal values as we head into May, and we'll cover that near the end of our video today. So let's take a look at what's happened in Fargo so far. If you watched some of our videos in the past, you've probably seen an image like this before. For those of you who haven't, though, we'll do a quick run through of what this means. So the red part of the top shows our record temperatures. The blue area on the bottom shows the record cold temperatures, and the brown area in the center is our normal temperature range. Then we have these blue rectangles. The bottom of the rectangle is the observed low temperature, and the top of the rectangle is the observed high. So in Fargo, for almost every single day so far in April, the observed high has been below the normal low temperature. That's just how cold it's been. But what does it look like going forward? Here's our forecast in Fargo over the next week. So, a little bit of explaining before I get too far into this. You notice there's colors behind all the different numbers here. That has to do with the departure from the normal temperatures. The darker the blue color in the background, the further it is away from the normal temperature. If it has more of a gray color, it's close to normal. So looking at Fargo's forecast in the highs, today, Sunday, when we're recording this, it's a good amount below normal still, quite a bit below normal. And it looks like it'll also be quite a bit below normal as we get into next weekend. But in the middle of the week, around Wednesday, getting a lot closer to normal temperatures in the mid-40s, so we got some nicer weather to look forward to. The low picture looks a lot better than the highs as far as compared to normal, with a lot of those closer to normal and some pretty much right at normal, maybe even slightly above normal low on Friday. We'll see if that actually happens. Now let's take a look at Grand Forks. Grand Forks is a similar picture to Fargo. Grand Forks hasn't been climatologically, at least, as cold as Fargo, although it's been pretty much just as cold as Fargo as well up in Grand Forks. Even though we see some of these bars moving up in the normal temperature, it's just compared to the climate normals largely with that, although Fargo has had nights that have been colder than Grand Forks over the past week. So even though typically you'd assume moving farther north it'd be colder. So let's take a look as well at what the forecast has in store for Grand Forks. Overall, pretty similar picture. Below normal still on Sunday. Today, getting warmer near the middle of the week around Wednesday, and then getting cooler again as we head into the weekend. And basically, yeah, it's a very similar picture to Fargo, just maybe not quite as warm, just a couple degrees, not too far apart, so I wouldn't expect them to be dramatically different. So, mentioned earlier, there's a chance for some rain and snow coming up in the middle of the week during that warmer period that we have. So we have rain and or snow possible Wednesday and Wednesday night. Now, one of the areas of concern at this time is that we don't have a lot of confidence in the temperatures and the timing with the precipitation yet with this. So that's why we say rain and or snow. There are places that could see entirely rain, and then other places that could see mostly, if not entirely, snow. Generally, the areas along and north US Highway 2 are most likely to see the accumulating snow, while areas to the south have a chance of snow if you're still in the risk area graphic here, but are less likely to get a larger amount of accumulating snow, and we'll see probably some rain mix in, but stay tuned for more details as we approach the storm to get the exact impacts.
Next, we'll look into Friday and next weekend. For Friday through next weekend, there's a strong Colorado low system that's expected to move through the northern and central plains. So this image will walk you through the potential tracks of this system for the next weekend. So by Thursday night, we're expecting the system to enter the central plains. But this is where it starts to get interesting. So Friday into Saturday, you can see that there are pretty significant differences in where we think the system might be headed. So there's lower confidence in the timing and track of this storm, which means that the details and rain or snow amounts, timing, and or locations are very uncertain at this time. So as you saw in the previous slide, there's lower confidence in the storm track at this point, but we do have a higher confidence in planning on a period for wet weather with this system over next weekend. In fact, this system is expected to have higher than average moisture content for this time of year. So one of the main questions right now is the precipitation type, since temperatures will be around freezing on Friday. Sometime in the Friday to Saturday timeframe, colder air will push into the region, allowing for temperatures to drop to near or below the freezing mark at most locations. But how far or how fast this cold air will push in is a big question at this point. With colder air eventually expected to move into the northern plains and our location being on the north side of the system, this means potential for another round of wintry weather and perhaps accumulating snowfall. So this image shows the area where the risk of the wintry precipitation is expecting to be the greatest for Friday into Saturday. Looking at the temperature outlook for next weekend and into early next week, there's a strong signal for temperatures to be below average for this time of year. Remembering that typical high temperatures during that period are in the 50s with average lows in the 30s. Here's the temperature outlook for the third week of April, after the previous system has passed through the plains. This still shows a strong signal for temperatures to continue to be below average for this time of year. While the colder than normal trend looks to continue for at least another week, there could be some day-to-day moderation in temperatures as daylight continues to increase each day. So now you're probably wondering, is it ever going to warm up into spring? Here's our temperature outlook for the last week of April into the first week of May. As you can see, for eastern North Dakota and northern Minnesota, there is no strong signal for above or below temperatures. This is an indicator that we may moderate back toward normal temperatures during this time period. However, there may still be significant day-to-day variations in temperature as well. Thanks for listening to our presentation. For questions or additional information, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter or contact us via phone. For more information, visit our website.